Hi guys, you're going to be a bit tired of antimony after this speech. I'm not sure if Lovato guys covered what antimony is all about, but I'll give a brief overview as well. So just quickly, just a little bit about Trigg. We're an antimony-focused company. We've only been antimony-focused for the last sort of 12 months or so. I myself have got a long history of mining antimony. I've been involved in Costerfield and a few other little ventures, and I've been mining antimony for about 17 years now, so considered an expert, I suppose. So our main focus is around our 100% owned Achilles antimony deposit. Wild Cattle Creek is the actual mine or the mining area, the deposit that's there, and it's got a JORC resource, and we'll talk a bit about that in a few slides' time. The other assets we have are Taylor's Arm, Spartan is also New South Wales, as well as the Nuttall Antimony project, and I'll plot those on a map for you in a minute. So just a bit about our company overview. Code obviously listed on the TSX. Our code is TMG. Market cap of about 26 million. I wish it was 400 million, like the Lovato guys, but we'll get there eventually. And we've got about 6 million cash in bank, which is pretty healthy for us. Share performance, yeah, you can see there's a little chart with plotting the volumes and our share price. Share price is doing pretty okay, considering we have a lot of liquidity now in our trading as well, which is always a good sign that the guys are interested in your product or your shares. And we have institutional investors, which is a sort of the top 20, own close to 40% of our shares. A bit about antimony. I'll just briefly touch what antimony is, because a lot of people don't know what it is. It's a metalloid. It's actually not a metal. Three main uses is one is a hardener for lead, mostly lead. Applications in batteries, huge applications in the military industry, hence part of the world shortage at the moment. A second one is antimony trioxide, which is used as a fire retardant, as a white powder, and that you'll find everywhere in the world, aviation industry. Just about everything you touch has got a bit of antimony trioxide in. It's a fantastic fire retardant. And the third use, which is probably the fastest growing use, is a product they make from antimony, which is called sodium antimonate, and they use that for solar panels. So that's growing by more than 10%. The demand for that is growing by more than 10% every year. So antimony is all around you, even if you don't know what before this, you didn't know what antimony was. Where it's used, mainly at the moment in the battery industry for antimony metal. Like I said, it's a hardener for lead, so that keeps the wafers and the batteries nice and stiff. Big applications in the military, all kinds of munitions. Again, there's been a worldwide shortage of antimony in the last couple of years. A lot of it's due to not just demand from the solar panel industry, but there's also huge demand from military applications. The war in Ukraine, Israel, they've depleted a lot of the deposits, or not deposits, a lot of reserves that the countries had worldwide. So they're now looking to top them up, and obviously the need for those minerals is growing day by day as well. Right. In terms of just the antimony industry itself, it's gone from literally 18 months ago, 1.5 billion a year in terms of production. And it's just last year alone, it's gone over 3 billion, and we think by 2025 it's probably going to hit over $5 billion. So it's not the same as copper, gold, and all the other things, but for being a critical mineral, it's quite significant. If you just look who owns the mines around the world, antimony mines, historically China's been the main producer of antimony. They've always owned or had most of the world's reserves. If you look 10 years ago, the reserves are 68. They owned 68% of the world's antimony reserves. That's depleting at quite a fast rate. At the moment, they're sitting on about between 52 and 55% of the reserves. So the need for China to be importing antimony for their own production has risen as well. What hasn't helped is them now not exporting to the rest of the world. Now that's created some demand and supply problems. So yeah, I think the pendulum is slowly swinging across to the west and countries outside of China in terms of reserves and production. A lot of, especially with the price now, a lot of new mines are coming or starting to come online or being developed. Okay. There's still quite a significant, it's not on the slide, but there's quite a significant amount of smuggling still going on out of specifically Myanmar and the Yunnan province of China. Completely legal, obviously, but I think a lot of people are making good money, and that's topping up some of the demand requirements. Okay. All right, so coming back to Trigg and our antimony portfolio, so we're actually neighbours of Lovato, the guys that spoke before us, sort of along the same erogenous belt, running down from sort of the northeast of the state of New South Wales down towards the central part of New South Wales. The deposits we have, you would actually see Lovato's there in orange as well, but the deposits we have are spread around that area. The one I want to focus on and speak to you about today is really our flagship project, which is Spartan Project and the Wild Cattle Creek deposit. Now that's indicated, as you'll see, to the right in green, or the middle right of the slide in green. And we're also close to a little city called Coffs Harbour. We're about 40 minutes out of Coffs Harbour. Infrastructure is great. We've got water, we've got electricity, we've got roads, and it's actually got quite a beautiful countryside as well. And we've got full support of the New South Wales government. Wild Cattle Creek, like I said, we have a JORC resource at Wild Cattle Creek. We've just upgraded the resource a few months ago, and we're sitting at the moment about 1.5 million tonnes, average grade just below 2%, and contain antimony of about 30,000 tonnes. We also have associated gold. We found that the deeper we go, the better the gold grades become. And we also recently discovered that we have associated tungsten as well at very good grades. So it's looking promising for us for the future at the Achilles project. I'll pop to that slide. So if you look at a long section, those of you who've never seen a long section, it's just a sort of imaginary line through the middle of an ore body from the east, or in this case from the south. The mineralization on the right-hand side, you can see it's hardly mineralized. But what's important on this slide is if you really look at the red arrows, what we believe, so this is our JORC resource of 1.5 million tonnes. The red arrows indicate that those areas have not been explored, and we believe them to be open and they're targets for our next exploration. So really our focus at Wild Cattle Creek is twofold. One is to immediately start an exploration and geophysics program to define this ore body even more and extend the ore body out to the west and at depth. And secondly, at the same time, to start doing our mine planning and preparation for pre-feasibility so that we can get this mine into development as soon as we can. We're hoping to start producing antimony. I know it's pretty aggressive, but within the next 2 to 3 years maximum, we're going to get there. Okay. Just quickly about our team, and we've got a really dynamic, aggressive, focused board of directors. We're about to beef up our board as well with some more geology and exploration and business development skills. But we're really eager to get this company moving forward pretty quickly. Guys with a lot of experience. Like I said before, myself, I've got 17 years experience in antimony. I am an expert in antimony. I know the market. I know the mining. I know how to develop the mines. I know narrow vein mining. So it's this project is a typical antimony project that should be pretty easy to develop. Okay. Again, we've got senior geologists with over 50 years experience, and amongst them about 15, 20 years of pure antimony mining experience. So just generally our approach, again, we, like most mining companies in Australia, will be focused on health and safety as our number one priority. It is important to us as one of our values, and also fully supporting, fully bringing the local community with us on this journey and engaging with them, and at the same time making sure that we protect the environment, because it's actually a pretty beautiful environment in that area, making sure we protect the environment as well. I said before, we focus on establishing our site at the moment at Wild Cattle Creek, getting on the ground, doing the geophysics work, getting our drill rigs out. We intend to do 12,000 meters of drilling in the next 6 months. So we'll have a few rigs on site going full blast out to the west of Wild Cattle Creek. So that's going to be our main focus. At the same time, but not as high priority, We'll identify some targets on some of the other deposits we have in New South Wales, and see if we can start developing those into some kind of a mineral reserve. And then also, we've had a few really good antimony projects that are close to operations presented to us, and we'll keep pursuing those and see if we can add value or maybe get into joint ventures or ownership of those deposits. And at the same time, bringing along our investment partners for the journey, and hopefully, we can all make a bit of money. Well, just to summarize, again, we've got Wild Cattle Creek. We think it's a world-class ore body, and it's in a great zone, a really proven antimony-rich zone that stretched for several hundred kilometers down the sort of coast, heading inland from the northern part of New South Wales. I personally think I've just come from a conference in Xiamen, an antimony-focused conference. They have one every year. We have players there from China and the rest of the world. And the general opinion is that the antimony price is not going to back off too much within the next 5 years or so, but they probably see a stabilization in about 2035 for the next 10 years. That's how long it's going to take for supply and demand to equal out. And the prediction is that it'll equal out at about $25,000 or thereabout in terms of pricing. Anything below 15,000, I think, would be probably knock off a lot of the smaller players in the market or the uneconomical ones. But I don't think we're ever going to see 15,000 antimony price again. I'm not saying it's going to stay. I think today's price is 56,000 or thereabout, which is phenomenal. We've never seen that. In fact, 15 months ago, the antimony price was $8,000. So from 8,000 to 56 or 57,000, it's crazy. It really is crazy. Okay. So that's in terms of the price. And from our point of view, we're going to develop the Wild Cattle Creek project, and we're going to keep looking for other opportunities. And we're 100% focused on antimony. Obviously, with there's gold and things like tungsten with it, we'll take what we get, but we are an antimony company. And that's our brief story. If you guys have any questions, or otherwise pop around to our booth. We're just right by the door, booth number 40. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.